It's time for something different here in the 1UP Turbo Truck Series, a doubleheader weekend unlike any other in the season. We're here at the Vancouver International Speedway in beautiful Washington State for 75 laps today and another 75 laps tomorrow. Two races for the price of one here in the 1UP Turbo Truck Series. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we hope you'll enjoy the racing up ahead of us. Alongside me in the booth today for these two races are Duke and Zach with me again, and this is something pretty unique. We got 75 laps to contend with today. This is its own points race, but the lead lap finishers today will start in the opposite order for tomorrow's race, so finishing on the lead lap is essential, and you want to get a good starting spot for tomorrow if you can't get it here today.
Yeah, that's absolutely going to be critical today because, we're racing at a little bit of a short track here. So there's going to be some lap cars involved. And if you go a lap down, then you're going to be starting in the back tomorrow. So something that will be critical in this race is going to be staying on the lead lap. And then, of course, trying to maximize your points for both the races. If you think you have a fast enough truck to get up there and win this race and then contend tomorrow as well, then that's going to be how you maximize your points for this weekend. So I'm excited to watch these truckers handle this. It's something new, something that's exciting, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready to get going.
And now we can look at the starting lineup set by our single qualifying session this weekend to set the lineup for the first race. And we have a bit of an upset on pole position. Brett Bishop, who's pretty much been nowhere this season so far, blitzed this half-mile track to get his first career pole in the Truck Series by a tenth of a second over Allison Rain in second. Zach Rogers, of course, always a contender in third. Levi Thorley, bit of a surprise up here in fourth. Francois Chastain, he's always a contender. He runs out the top five. But we've got some big names starting out back, like Robert Weaver, the Pikes Peak winner, Earl Sear, a two-time winner. They start pretty far up down the order. And conversely, we have some upsets starting up at the front. Maston Rimmel, he starts seventh, his best career start. And Christian Russell making a return to the Truck Series. He starts 11th for the Pirate Bay Motorsports team. It's going to be a big day, and especially for those guys I just mentioned who aren't used to starting up this high, so let's see if they can hang on to it for the rest of the day.
Yeah, and what's going to be critical for those guys that are starting in the back is to just stay calm and stay on the lead lap. It's going to be tough to pass today. That's just what we found out during practice and qualifying and, this whole weekend. So this is going to be it's going to be absolutely critical to stay on the lead lap. And then the guys that are starting up front, we got a lot of rookies up there, and this is the big opportunity to maybe make yourself known. You got a chance here to win this race and then go and try to come up from the back in the next one. So we'll see what they're able to do in this. It's going to be 75 laps of excitement today.
So with that being said, the cars are lined up on the grid, and we're ready to bring you the first of two races this weekend. This is the 1UP Turbo Truck Series doubleheader at Vancouver, and the green flag for race one is coming up next. Heading into the restart zone, Brett Bishop gets a good jump on Allison Rain to take the green flag here at Vancouver. Diving it off into turn one goes the 56 with Allison Rain washing up the track a little bit. That allows Rogers the opportunity and Thorley behind him to make moves for second place, but right now Brett Bishop has a pretty good lead as they complete the first lap. Off of turn four, he leads comfortably over Rain.
Yeah, and we've got a quick race here, so this is going to be something where all these drivers are going to have to really push to get up to the front quickly. I mean, it's only 75 laps here. We won't have a long time today considering it's a two-race weekend here. So first race and second race, both 75 laps. Won't take very long. You got to get up front quick.
And Brett Bishop's doing everything he can. He's yet to score a top 10 this season. Could this be today? And if he could cap it off with a race victory if he can hang on for the win here. That'd be an impressive feat for your first top 10 in the series. But he's got about a half-second lead over Allison Rain, which is pretty much what you could hope for at this point in the race, very early on. But Rain's starting to close the gap a little bit on Bishop. So this race is far from over, but as we've seen, passing is quite difficult. It could be a difficult task for anybody not named Brett Bishop here today.
Yeah, Brett Bishop definitely, it was critical to get the lead on the start there because that was really, either of those front two were going to take the lead on the start, and it was good for the 56 to be up front because I'd definitely at this place rather be defending than trying to make the passes. We see the 82 trying to make a pass. That's Levi Thorley trying to go for third place.
Trying to make a move on Zach Rogers, who has 2 runner-ups in the last 2 races. He's doing all he can to get his first win, but you're absolutely right. You'd rather be on the defense here because it's just so difficult to make a pass. The groove is very narrow on this narrow of a racetrack, so you definitely want to be in the front rather than having to push from the back. And with the invert coming up for tomorrow, that could make things very interesting for the guys running in the midfield, trying to stay on the lead lap and secure pole position for tomorrow. But right now, Brett Bishop's taking full advantage of the pole position here and today, and he's making it stick, although Allison Rain is getting a little closer in his rearview mirror.
Yeah, for sure. And when you're looking at the track as they come through the corners, you can see it real well through the middle of the corner right there. And here comes Allison Rain right up on the bumper of Brett Bishop, but you can see how narrow that groove is. There's actually a darker section of this racetrack, and that's where all the trucks are running right now, right in there. And if you get up higher on the track, it's going to be dirty up there. You know, there's marbles up there, pieces of rubber, just dust from the air collecting up there as well, because there's no trucks running up there. So you don't really want to try to go up there. That means you need to make your pass in the straightaway by getting a good exit off of the corner. So we'll watch Allison Rain and see if there's a move down the straightaway. You want to go low. Let's see it. Man, the 34 is really good off the corner. Man, this is going to be a good battle for the rest of this race if these two stay at it like they are.
The whole field now separated by about 9 seconds at this point in time, but I fully expect the back of the field to get lapped at a certain point in time. And that is not what you want to see if you're a back marker, because you want to stay on the lead lap for pole tomorrow, or a good starting spot tomorrow. You really want to hang in there for a good starting position in tomorrow's race instead of being resigned to a back of the pack start for both. But as you said, the battle for the lead heating up between Bishop and Rain, and they're starting to pull clear of Zach Rogers a little bit in the 17. They got 9/10 on him, but I don't know. Rain has got a very good truck. There's no doubt about that. But Brett Bishop, as long as he makes that truck as wide as he can. Ooh, that's close between he and the 34. But I think Rain had to back out of that move to keep it from crashing. So for now, Bishop holds the lead.
Man, I don't know if that was good defense or good offense, but it almost ended in disaster for the top 2 trucks here. But yeah, that was a crazy situation. Allison Rain almost got a little bit too deep in there underneath Brett Bishop, who was coming down the track, and that was almost catastrophe. Good job by both these drivers to back out of that one. And like you said, the field only separated by 9 seconds a few laps ago. These laps are only about 19 seconds long here, so there will be some lap cars in this one, and you do not want to go a lap down in this race.
Staying on the lead lap is paramount for this race, as we've said multiple times in this race. But as these two have been battling for the lead, Zach Rogers has started to creep back into the picture a little bit too. He's still about 9/10 back, but you can see him in the Red Bull number 17. He's starting to make gains. Even though he lost a 10th there, you can still see him in the shot. And if these two start squabbling, which I think they have not been for a little while, I think they've started to space themselves out. But Brett Bishop's just holding a steady wheel and keeping a steady lead over Allison Rain.
Yeah, they had one big squabble and decided to catch their breath for a few laps. That was an intense moment right there. But yeah, Zach Rogers now on the way to the front in that 17 truck. I think that he'll be there before long, and we'll see a three truck battle for the lead.
You gotta worry though if you're Allison Rain. If you let Bishop get too far ahead, you might not be able to chase him back down later. So you gotta stay within striking distance, and I think the 34 is doing a good job of that right now. She's about 4/10 off the lead right now, and that's easy enough to reel him back in. But passing is a whole nother story. We're gonna say it a lot through this race weekend. It's just gonna be very difficult to do that, and as a testament to that, most of the top 10 started in the top 10 when this race began.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm looking through that field, or through that list right there, the leaderboard, and seeing a lot of numbers that have been up there for this whole thing. So that's the passing is extremely difficult here today, as we've seen all weekend. And It's going to be fascinating to see once these leaders catch the lappers. You know, it's not any easier to pass the lappers than it is to pass normal cars. So we'll see how that impacts this race. Of course, we're getting through it pretty quickly here. So, man, oh man, I don't know. I think that there's still some time left in this thing for a little bit of craziness to happen, especially here up front when they catch the lappers.
And that will come fairly soon because the lap traffic is just getting closer and closer to Brett Bishop's front bumper. And even though he's built a 0.7 of a second lead over Allison Rain, that can quickly evaporate if you get stuck behind the lap traffic and they cause you too much of a problem. But so far so good for Brett Bishop. These are his first laps led of the season, I believe, and he's doing a very strong job of holding on to it. Remember, like I said, he's yet to finish in the top 10 in a race this season for Vortex Racing, a team that he owns. So a very strong run, as we got one on pit road, and that is Levi Thorley in the 82. He was running in the top 5 before this race got underway, and he's now on pit road. It looks like a flat on that 82. He's got to come to pit road and assess that, and that will knock him critically off the lead lap here at Vancouver.
Oh, that's a huge penalty for this situation, because now going to be a lap down or 2, and that means you won't have the opportunity to be part of the inversion for the starting positions in the next race, and you're going to be starting in the back after that, unless there's a couple yellows in this thing. That could spell disaster for this weekend for the 82 truck.
Absolutely. He's already gone 2 laps down, and he appears to be coming back on track right now. The good news for Levi Thorley is he now has 27 lap fresher tires than anybody else. So that should assist him in making some passes, even though that's been quite difficult today. Fresh tires, I think, is going to be the key to making those passes. So I fully expect Thorley to possibly get one of his laps back, but I very much doubt he'll be able to get both of them back in a race that already is a third of the way through.
Yeah, but that would be, I mean, Levi Thorley now in the catbird seat here, because if he is able to get both those laps back, we're starting on pole for tomorrow's race. So that's big encouragement. The fresher tires, I don't know, like you said, I don't know if it's going to happen. 2 laps is a long way, but I think that there's a small chance. And we got, is this going to be a yellow? Certainly it will be. Is the
32 of Tanner Browning, whose engine has expired on lap 30. I don't see a yellow flag coming for this, and we do not get one. If there's any fluid being dropped down, it was put onto the apron, so we're able to stay green in this race. A tough break for Tanner Browning. His race is over already, and he will start last as well for tomorrow's race. A tough weekend for the Sinclair Canada Racing development driver. But it just... reliability is always going to be an issue for these guys, and today it reared its ugly head for Tanner Browning.
Yeah, and look at this snarling pack of trucks ahead of our leader. Brett Bishop is caught the back of the pack, and they have been too wide all the way around this track, racing for position, trying to stay ahead of him. This is critical for all these drivers up here to stay ahead of the leader, and man, oh man, is it going to be tough for the 56 to navigate through this traffic. And here comes Allison Rain. Zach Rogers is going to be on the way soon as well, and maybe more. Man, this is a long train of trucks to try to get by. Oh, look out, it's really close for the leader, Brett Bishop. Man, oh man.
First up is Sam Houston in the 47, and you can see Allison Rain has cut the gap in half already. But yeah, Houston is about to go a lap down to Brett Bishop, and next up for him is Henry Brown in the 70, Clay Costello in the 46 as well, Josh Darth in the 50, Carson Jefferson, Giovanni Pena. All of these guys are trying desperately to stay on the lead lap, because right now Henry Brown would start on pole for tomorrow's race if it were to end right now, but we still have 40 laps to go. And as Brett Bishop now comes up to lap Josh Darth and Carson Jefferson in one go. Oh, and Darth pulls down ahead of Allison Rain, so that blocks off the 34's progress for the time being. Josh Darth trying to get around Carson Jefferson here for a little better position in this race. But that is not what Allison Rain wanted to see, especially considering how fast she was closing in on the 56.
Yeah, Allison Ray needs to be directly behind that 56 truck for for the entirety of passing all these cars, because it is going to be, that's the way, how you're going to get past. So I don't know. I mean, if you got trucks driving down in front of you like that, it's going to be really tough to be able to make a move on the leader, Brett Bishop. We'll see how this goes. They navigated well through there. Though it seems so, and it was almost contact, but there was no contact, so that's really good, really good. The leaders are doing well, and so are the lappers, and not hurting them. And here goes Allison Rain, trying to pass that 50 truck now on the inside, and Brett Bishop is still right there struggling, so Allison Rain not out of it yet.
They're nose to tail right now out of two leaders, but they start to space out, and that allows Josh Dart to get back between them again. But then the 50 washes up, and that allows Rain to get... Oh, but she has to back out of it a little bit. We're going to see that a lot. If you get a run on the exit of 4, you might have to back out to preserve your truck. And so Brett Bishop now has a half-second lead over Allison Rain, as he's still stuck behind Henry Brown in the 70. So Brett Bishop doing whatever he can to try and get around these guys. It is proving to be much easier said than done, as we are past halfway here at Vancouver for race 1.
Yeah, I don't think that anybody after this race should be asking Allison Rain about Jack Daniels. This is a really tough situation with Josh Darth right there. But you know, Brett Bishop still has not been able to get by that 70 truck. So, and while all this is happening, I've been keeping tabs on the 17 and how far back, and it's gone down from 3 seconds before just as they were catching the traffic, all the way down to what is now 1.8 seconds. So. That 17, Zach Rogers, is catching up to these guys. So we'll see. We'll see. We might have a 3-horse race by the end of it.
Austin Runkle has now supplanted Allison Rain for taking the fastest lap point of this race of an 1871. So Runkle doing a good job in the top 10 as we now look back for the rest of the field, see where your favorite driver is running in this race. Right now, as things stand, Clay Costello would start on pole for tomorrow's race, and Brett Bishop would start all the way back in 36th. But I'm sure he won't mind if he can take a win here today. But yeah, it just goes to show the duality of this weekend. You can have a great day in one race, and because of the invert, have a midday on the next. So it's very interesting how this weekend format works, and I'm sure when we find the right track for this format, we'll be able to showcase how good it actually is.
For sure, and something that I really enjoy about it so far is that you've got all these drivers in the back who are going to race the leaders hard, because they know if they're not on the lead lap, they're not going to get that inversion. They'll be starting in the back, so it's desperate to try to stay ahead of the leaders. However, if you are the leader, you're racing these guys hard to try to pass them so that you can lap as many people as you want, because you're directly impacting your own starting position for tomorrow's race. So I'll tell you what, it's going to be interesting to watch how much Brett Bishop pushes these guys to try to get past, because every time he passes somebody, he gains a starting position for tomorrow's race. So it's a fascinating format, and I love it, and I think that we're seeing it work out pretty well right now.
Although Brett Bishop has now pulled out to a 1.5 second lead over Allison Rain. This is the biggest it's been all day, and I think Allison Rain is starting to lose patience with young Josh Darth here in the 50. She's moved him up the racetrack, trying to make a move under him, as we now make our way back up to the front, and we see Brett Bishop still trying to get around Clay Costello. It doesn't look like it's going to happen on this occasion. That 46 doing a very good job. He started very far back. He started 40th in this race, but he's doing a pretty good job hanging on to a lead lap position, and as things stand right now, he'd get pole.
Yeah, looking really good, but of course there's still 25 laps left in this race. You got a hard-charging Brett Bishop sitting right behind you. Nobody's been able to pass Brett Bishop today, so holding him off. We'll see if the 46 is able to do it. So far, so good. And then, of course, there's Brett Bishop has got a multifaceted motivation structure right here, because he's sitting in first place. He doesn't want the guys behind to catch him because he wants to win the race, obviously. But then he also is trying to pass all these drivers to try to make it so that he has a better starting position tomorrow. So This is a fierce race right here, and the 46 doing a great job of holding off the leader.
And he's doing it despite having no experience at this track before. Nobody has, but Brett Bishop doing a good job at practicing patience. He knows he's faster than these guys, and he still has about 23 laps to make it happen. So he's ripping the top now to try and generate some momentum around, and he's actually still gaining on Rain and Rogers, who are starting to close up in a battle for second right now. So yeah, Brett Bishop just practicing patience right now. That's all he needs to do. He's got a huge lead. It's gone down by quite a bit there, but he's still got a pretty big lead, and he can afford to let it go a little bit just so he can try and exercise patience and getting around these lap trucks.
Yeah, I think it was an interesting strategy to maybe go to the top right there, but what happened is the 70 went low, and I think that now Brett Bishop isn't going to want to be forced to the outside lane. That's how you're going to lose the lead if you're going to lose it. So just staying on the bottom, like you said, practicing patience, doing a really good job of sticking around, putting pressure on the 46, and it's working out so far.
Got 20 laps to go here at Vancouver, and these two are in a hot battle for second position. Allison Rain and Zach Rogers, they're still stuck behind Josh Dart in this 50, proving that passing's difficult even on lap traffic. But this has allowed Rogers to close in from about 6 seconds back onto the back bumper of Allison Rain, and these two are having a spirited battle behind the 50, trying to keep second away. For Rogers, if he were to make this pass, it would be his third consecutive runner-up finish. So as much as he wants to get out front and win this race, consistency is going to be key for Zach Rogers if he's going to climb his way up the points ladder. He's already doing a good job of it now, but he just needs that little extra bit. Because remember, the difference between second and third in this race is a whopping 5 points.
Yeah, it's a big gap here, and of course, these guys, I mean, they would probably be right up behind Brett Bishop in the lead if it wasn't for Josh Darth in the 50. Man, oh man, giving him an absolute tough time trying to get through, and that's why the gap keeps growing for Brett Bishop despite not making any passes up there, is because these guys also can't pass. And here comes Zach Rogers to the bottom. See if it works. Not close enough for the 17 truck, but man, it was a solid move right there. And look who's back, our friend from the pit lane.
Absolutely, Levi Forley is gaining time on these guys. He took 4 tires on his pit stop. He is still 2 laps down, but he is much faster than everybody ahead of him, because he is still on 27 lap fresher tires, and he's making a move on Zach Rogers to try and unlap himself there. We'll see how well that goes, as Forley now gets underneath the 17 and easily gets around. So much easier job on fresh tires. But here comes Rogers trying to make him run on it again, but Forley's now going to try and wrap around the top to try and get around Allison Rain. This is an incredible run from the 82. It's not going to be enough to get him back on the lead lap, but still, what a drive to make the best of a bad situation.
This will be interesting to see if the 82 is forced to pass Josh Darth on the low side.
And we got one slowing.
Oh no!
And it's Audrey Ansack in the 8 truck. Another reliability problem for one of these drivers here in the 8, and that I'm not sure if that, and it looks like we are going to get a caution this time, because we had trouble, and it looks like it involves the 91 of Bronson Minnick, and that does bring out caution for the first time today on the lap number 64. And look at Brett Bishop with a huge head of steam catching up to the back of these guys.
Yeah, that's... Oh boy, well now we've got an interesting situation. If Levi Thorley had been able to get his lap back, one of them, that would have been in perfect scenario. But oh, and we got everybody beating on each other right now trying to find positions. Oh, it's a pretty tight track under caution. What is going on over here?
Yeah, this track very narrow, and we were worried about this. If a caution were to come out with a huge pack of trucks, and we're seeing it rear its ugly head right here. Everybody trying to find position to space out, but there's no position. There's no position to do that because everybody's all in one group, and you can't get spread out. So it's a very interesting sight, if nothing else. But very unfortunate for these guys, especially the 91 of Bronson Minnick, who it looks like was the cause of this. You see Bronson, he was running in 23rd at the time, and he's trying to make a run on the two ahead of him, and he gets clipped by Dalton Sate. Dalton Sate and Aiden Smith were trying to create a hole that wasn't there, and Bronson just gets spun up to the high side. No big damage on that 91, but he lost a lot of track position as a result of that. However, if he can stay on the lead lap, that could be a good thing, because if he did stay on the lead lap, then that'll give him a much better starting spot for tomorrow as well.
Yeah, and it looked like he was able to avoid having any damage, like real damage from that crash, so maybe won't even have to make a pit stop here for that 91 truck. And here's Audrey Anzac in the 8 sitting at the end of pit road waiting for everybody to go by. Not sure, it almost looked like an engine issue with that 8, but obviously is not. We'll see, I don't know.
Looks like she'll be able to get back going again as the field tries to sort itself out under caution. This is a bit
watch out!
Whoa, that was close with her in the 84, but we're still trying to sort this out. It's a bit unprecedented, this, but the pace truck has picked up Jonathan Lawson. He currently runs 7th, and I fully expect him to be let go, as well as everybody else in the behind the pace truck, to allow Brett Bishop to be the first one in line. But he is quite a ways behind right now, so this is a tricky situation for everybody involved, because we don't want to restart the race with the leader in such a big pack at the back, but at the same time we're under 10 laps to go, so this will be a single file restart. There's a lot of questions to be asked, and a lot of them are not going to be answered here today.
Very fascinating. Yeah, and here comes the 56. Making some passes now.
It looks like he's getting a bit impatient, trying to cycle his way up to the front here. I'm not sure what's going on, but Brett Bishop trying to close up to the lead group, but he's being forced to slow down to let all the lap vehicles go. So
now, okay.
As you see Noah Hart go through in the 09, Riley Hooper should be up next, but this is going to be a very complex situation. Oh, the pace truck's pulling off. We're getting ready to restart this race, whether everybody's ready for it to or not. This is an unprecedented situation, but in the most dire of circumstances, we're getting ready to restart this race with 7 laps to go, and Brett Bishop has now put over half the field down a lap here.
Oh boy, so this is a very fascinating situation, because now we've got a lot of different stories going on. Brett Bishop remains the leader. We've got Audrey Anzac near the front of the pack, maybe a couple laps down, but with fresh tires, so going by everybody. And here's Allison Rain, who's still listed in 2nd place in a huge pack of trucks with a little bit of damage on the spoiler. And man, this is going to be, I mean, there's no way Brett Bishop, he's sitting out there looking really good right now with only about 5 laps to go as they come to the line next time by.
Only 20 trucks on the lead lap as well. This shook up the running order in a big way. You see Audrey Anzac is actually 4 laps down in that 8, so she will likely start 41st tomorrow. But what a drive Brett Bishop has put on today, even in some of the more bizarre, under bizarre circumstances. You see someone on pit road coming out. That is the 21 of Jonathan Lawson. He was having a very good day in the top 10. That has all gone to nothing in the last few laps. Lawson now will start at the tail end of the field for tomorrow's race. But making our way back to the front of the field, it is most likely going to be Brett Bishop in this 56. As you see Audrey trying to get around, she should be able to unlap herself pretty easily, as we have 3 laps to go now from Vancouver.
Yeah, so Brett Bishop has found himself in an excellent situation in comparison to what it was before. Of course, now he's not having to deal with lap cars and oh, watch out, don't get wrecked by Audrey, just let her go. She's got way fresher tires. You need to watch out right here. There's already been enough controversy in this race, but man, oh man, Brett Bishop has put on an absolute clinic today, despite some controversy, despite a weird restart situation. The 56 remains up front and has been, I mean, unstoppable in this race.
White flag in the air from Vancouver, and Brett Bishop's going to lead all of them here today. en route to his first career win in the Turbo Truck Series. It might not have come in the most easiest circumstances. Bit of controversy thrown in as well. But coming through 3 and 4 for the final time, it is going to be Brett Bishop leading every lap en route to career win number 1 here at Vancouver International Speedway by 4 seconds over Allison Rain, who finishes second. Zach Rogers, a further 7/10 back in third. Man, what a crazy race we just had here at Vancouver, and we still got one more coming up tomorrow. Austin Runkle, 4th in this race. Francois Chastain runs at the top 5 ahead of Jeremy Whalen, 6th. Billy Kidd, 7th. Kev Shearer finishes 8th ahead of Christian Russell, an incredible drive for Pirate Bay Motorsports. They get a top 10 in just their second ever race, and Maston Rimmel likewise gets his first career top 10 in the 10th position. And looking back, I'm trying to figure out who's going to be on pole for tomorrow's race, because we only had 19 to finish on the lead lap. So Brett Bishop will start 19th tomorrow. There's no doubt about that. But we're going to look through the rest of the running order to get a better idea of who's going to start this race from the front. It's going to be very close, but I think a couple very well off the pace from the race leader, Brett Bishop, who just put on an absolute storming of this field in this race. What a day we had at Vancouver regardless, though.
I'll tell you what, it couldn't have possibly gone better for Brett Bishop. I mean, starting on the pole, getting the lead early, driving away, then the caution comes out, you're still up front, weird situation. They let you go with a few laps left in the race. There's a huge gap between yourself and the leaders, and now all of a sudden people are laps down, and now you're going to be starting 19th for tomorrow's race.
And starting on pole will be the Crossroads Racing number 10 of James Ellison, with Earl Sears starting to his outside in race number 2 tomorrow. So James Ellison's going to be in a very good position for tomorrow's race. He finishes 19th today. He'll be on pole for tomorrow, and we're looking forward to seeing what the next 75 laps hold for us here in the 1UP Turbo Truck Series as well. So, from Duke Anzac and from myself as well, we say goodbye for today from Vancouver Speedway. We'll see you all again tomorrow for another installment of Turbo Truck Series action from Vancouver. Brett Bishop takes the win. James Ellison will start on pole tomorrow.